Hello everyone, my name is Solomon. I'm going to explain about the object-oriented programming, that is C++ language, which is one of the most important language. We have many languages like C, Python, Java, C++, and many languages. So this is C++ language, and this is a compiler what I use. This is a code block 20.03 version, and I use two platforms. One is CodeBlock and one more is online GDB. Like most of you are familiar with that, we can execute our code in online. So we'll go with the simple codes in a C++ programming. Now we'll see the programming of prime numbers. So first line hash include IO stream. This is the compulsory and mandatory line in C++ programming. In C programming, what we enter is like hash include std.h, but here hash include IO stream. So this is a compulsory and mandatory line in C++ programming. And the second line is an optional line. We can type using namespace std, or we can do in this way also. Like we have to initialize everywhere std dot in front of every line of a program. So I go through this way because this is easier than that. We can initialize in the beginning for everything using namespace std. So from here, third line, our code starts int main. Without int main, our program doesn't execute. This will never execute. And using namespace std, this line is used to execute, to perform these lines C out and C in. C out is nothing but printing the statement for the user. C in is nothing but asking the user to enter some value. So we'll go from the third line. Int main, from here our code starts. Int a, we have initialized it. Int a. So computer itself will allocate some memory for a. It is an integer. If it is 34 byte or 64 byte, it will allocate 4 byte. So int a, it has 4 values. So count equal to 0. We have initialized count itself in the beginning itself as a 0. The value of count is 0 because in future we have to add some value to the count to give the result. So C out, this is the printing the statement for the user. Enter the number to be checked. So this will print for the user when we are executing the program. So C in is nothing but we are asking the user to enter some value. When the value is entered by the user, the value will be stored in C in. So this is C in is equal to A. So this A value will pass through for loop. So for loop is used to execute a number or loop a number for n number of times. So when we enter A is equals to 100, it will increment for I is less than or equal to A. A is equal to 100. So it will execute till 100 times for loop because we cannot code 100 lines or 100 things for simple code. So we can use for loop for this. So int I equal to A, we have initialized I is equals to 1. And I should be less than or equal to A. What is A? A is a number entered by the user. So next we will increment I. I will be incremented all the time. So until and unless this will become greater. So until and unless I is less than or equal to A, it will keep on incrementing. So when this is incremented, when this condition becomes true, it will enter into if. If A is percentage, that is divisible by or equal to 0, then it will count equal to 1. It will be incremented. The value of count, we have initialized it as 0. It will be incremented to 1. In this way, until and unless I is less than or equal to A, it will keep on incrementing. So for I less than or equal to A, this will keep on incrementing and the values will be added to count. When this condition fails, it will come out, and if it will go into the if, and it will check the condition here, count is less than or equal to 3. Then it will print if the number is prime, or else it will print the number is not prime. So we'll check with some good examples and simple examples to check whether our code is correct or not. So see, here we have initialized C out, enter the number. So it will show the number, enter the number. C out is nothing but printing the statement for the user. So we'll enter some simple value is like 2. It will check is a prime number. Why? 2 is divisible by itself and 1, so that is a prime number. So we'll check with some other example like 4, because 4 is divisible by itself and 2 and 1, so we'll check with 4. 4 is not a prime number. As I said, 4 is divisible by 4 and 2 and 1, so 4 is not a prime number. So we can check it to any random number, it will show exact value, exact answer. We'll check for 155, 155. It's not a prime number because 155 can be divisible by itself, 5 and 1, so this is not a prime number. So we'll go with the second program. It is sum of natural numbers. So here this code will give the result as sum of natural numbers. So if I enter 10, it will show the result of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. So up to 10 it will sum and give me the result. So this is called sum of n numbers. So we'll go into the program. Hash include, as I said, it is mandatory for every program, and this line is also. And from here our code starts, and int a is equals to 0. I have initialized a is equals to 0, and b I want the user to be entered. So cout is a value, enter the value. This will be printed for the user, and the number entered by the user will be stored in b, that is in cin, and then it will show the result. We are using for loop. As I said, we cannot print n number of times, because if I want to add two numbers, a is equals to 1, b is equals to 2. So if I want to add them, c is equals to a plus b, then it will give the result 3. So I can't keep on printing and using those numbers, so I use for loop for this. So this is the easiest method to complete the program. So for I is equals to 1, I have initialized I is equals to 1. I should be less than or equal to b. So I should be less than or equal to the number entered by the user. So I will be incremented. So the value of I will be stored in a. As we initialized, a is equals to 0. So when the value is initialized here, so I will enter first, he will enter 10. Then 10 is less than or equal to I is 1. So it will increment 1. So in the a, the 1 value is stored. So the value of a here is not 0 now, it is 1. So again it will go to the for loop. It will execute until and unless this condition fails. So then it will print the result. We'll check with some good examples. Enter a number. So I will enter the number 5. So it will give me the sum of 5 numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So it is 15. In this way this program works. So now we'll go to our local compiler code block. Here we'll see some 4 programs in C++ programming. First we'll see the factorial. What is factorial? As entered, if an user input is 5, factorial of 5 is equals to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is called factorial. So if I enter 6, if the user enters the value 6, it will be 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This is the factorial. So we'll check the multiplication of all these numbers should be our result. So we'll check in the program how it is working. As I said, these 2 lines are mandatory. So from here our code starts, int main. From here our code executes. So int a is initialized as value 1, and b and c are not declared. So cout is a printf statement. So it is printing the statement, enter a number. So whatever the user want, he will enter, and the entered value will be stored in b. So it will store in b, that is cin. So here we are using for loop for this. So I is equals to 1, I is less than or equal to b, I plus plus. So when the I is incremented, until and unless this condition fails, I will be keep on incrementing. So when I is initialized, I is incremented, then the value will multiply with a and store in this. So we'll see the result. If the result is going to be correct or not. So enter a number. We saw it. So we'll enter some number. As I want to check for 5 factorial. Yeah, the factorial of 5 is 120. For our kind good information, we'll go with here. Is should be here. We'll make it little clear. This code is, yeah. Now we'll see. Factor, enter the number 5. Yeah, the factorial of a 5 is 120. Sorry, I did not save this code. We'll save and run it. Okay. Now we'll run the code and check. It will be clear for us. So the factorial of 5 is 120, and we'll check with some other number, 10. Yeah, factorial of 10, that is, yeah, it keep on going. 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into, will keep on going until the condition is failed here. So next we'll go to the largest number. So the user, if you want to know what is the largest number, I'll give some random numbers, 60, 30, 1000. So I want to check whether what is the largest number. For this is the code. These two lines are mandatory. Int main, from here our code start executing. Here int a comma b comma c. These are the values what we need to be entered. These values should be entered by the user. So C out, this is the printing statement for the user. So we can ask the user in the same line. We need not to keep for three numbers, C in A, C in B, C in C. We need not to do that. We can complete this in single line, like C in is like A, next B, next C. We can do it this way. So when the user enters some value, this will check if statement. Here we are using 3 if statements. If A is greater than or equal to B, and this double ampersand is OR. This double ampersand gives like OR. This and this condition is passed, then this condition should be passed. So this double ampersand denotes that. So when this condition pass, this count is A. If A is greater than B, A value is greater, and A is greater than C, then the value A is greater. So C out, this A will be printed. Otherwise, next it will go to else. You can go with else. Else for this, we'll check the program and do. So else B is greater than or equal to A, double ampersand B is greater than or equal to C. So B is greater. In this way, 3 conditions will be checked and it will print the largest value. We'll check the code. So enter in numbers. So we'll enter the first number is 1, then 2, then 3. So the largest number is 3. So we'll check with some other examples. When we give some random numbers like 100, descending or ascending, some mixed numbers. So first we'll check for 34, then I will give it like 12, then I will give us 10. So what it should print, 34 is the largest number. So now it should print 34. Yeah, we can see here 34 is printing. So 34 is the largest number. So in this way this code execute. And next we'll check for the leap year. Leap year, okay, what is the leap year? Do leap year have one extra day or not? So after every 4 years there will be one leap year. Yes or no? Yes. So after every 4 years there will be one leap year. So to check a leap year, this is like a small it's like a game, or we can enjoy with this. We can check like 2100, next coming 2020, 2050 is a leap year or not. We can check through this. There is a very simple code and good code. This is the one of the important code in all the languages, C, C++, Java and Python is one of the good important code. So we'll go into the code. These 2 lines are mandatory, and from here our code start executing. Int a, what is a? We have to give the value a. For the value a, system will allocate how many byte? 4 byte, because for int, I'll tell you, for int it will give 4 byte. For char is nothing but character, this will give 4 byte. And for float number, it will allocate 8 byte. This is according to my computer, and for maximum every computer it will be same, because my laptop is for 64-bit. This is the case, so we can go and check here. This is the int, it gives 4 byte for my value. So see out, enter the year. You want to check whether it is a leap year or not. So the user want to enter a number here. So the value entered by the user a will be stored in cin. If we are using if statement, because we cannot use for statement, it need not to execute. Here we need to check the condition. So we are using if statement. If the number entered value is divisible by 400, because for every 4 years we'll get one leap year, 400. Why we are using 400? We can use 4 also, but what's the use of using 400? 400 is nothing but when we go to the case like 1600, 1500 years and 1800, then we need to use this. It won't work for 4, so we need to use 400. So, and a is divisible by 400 double equal to 0, and a is divisible by 4, and a is not exactly divisible by 100. Then see out, this will gives as a leap year, and else not a leap year. So we'll check with some years what we know. What's the best leap year we ever had? Was not one at that time. We'll check for 2004, because it is a leap year, we know. So 2004, it's a leap year. So we'll check with some other numbers. Okay, other years, like we'll go with 2007. We had a World Cup there, so it's not a leap year. So this is not a leap year, 2007. So we can go like we want to check whether 2030 is a leap year or not. We can enter here 2030. That's not going to be a leap year. 2030 is not a leap year. So in this way, we can see whether it's a leap year or not. Next, we'll go with Fibonacci series. This is the important most program in all the languages after leap year. So Fibonacci series, I'll give you some good example and clear note about Fibonacci series. So if I enter the value 5, Fibonacci series, so what it should print? First it will print 0, then it will print 1, then it will print 1 again, then it will print 2, then it will print 3, then it will print 5, then it will print 8. In this way it keep on executing up to 5. How do I know this? Fibonacci is nothing but, first it will give a number, it starts from 0, then it will increment and this 1. So what's going to happen here is like 0 plus 1. This is gonna happen here. That is 1. In the next step, this 1 and this 1 is going to be added. So 1 plus 1, that gives to 2. And next this 2 and this 1 will be added here. So 2 plus 1, that will gives to 3. This is called Fibonacci series. It keep on adding the next number until the condition fails. So now we'll go to our program. These 2 lines, these very important lines, and from here our code starts. Int main and int n, I and a and b are initialized here itself. A is equals to 0, b is equal to 1, and c. Why we are taking these many variables? Because we have to store the values in different numbers to get the next number. So C out, we are printing the statement for the user, enter the number. So C in, the number where it will be stored. And next we are using for loop because it need to be executed n number of times. N number of times is nothing but until the user want to the result. So I is equals to 0, we have initialized here, I is less than n, so n will be entered by the user, so I will be incremented here. And when this condition is true, it will enter into for loop. And C out, this is printing the statement for the user. So C is equals to A plus B. What is B here? B is 1. What is A? In the beginning A is 0, so 1 plus 0 is equals to 1. That will be stored in C. And A is equals to B. Is A is equals to B now? Yes, because 1. What's the value of B? Is 1. What's the value of A? Is 0. So when the value is incremented, when the value is added, this will be equal. So this value will be stored here. B value will be stored here. What's the B value? B value is 1. 1 will be stored in A. Now A value is equals to 1. And C value, what is C value? 0 plus 1 equals to 1. C value will be stored in B. So in this way, it will keep on incrementing until and unless the condition fails. I is greater than n. When this condition becomes I is greater than n, then the condition will break out and it will come out. So until and unless this condition is true, it will keep on executing for loop. So we'll check for the result whether it is working properly or not. Enter a number. So we'll check with some number. Simple number we'll check is 5. So as I said, what's going to come for 5? 5. We'll check for number 5. So it will execute for 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. So as I said here, I'm sorry, this should be not here. I need to clear all these things. Sorry. And here it should be 1, enter 2, enter, yeah. As I showed this, 1, first time when the for loop is executed, I'll show you detailedly. When the first time for loop is executed, the value will be printed as 0 because A value is 0 here, right? So it will print 0. Then it starts initializing, incrementing I. Then it is 1. A plus B is equals to 1. Then this value will be printed here. Then again it will be incremented 1. Then this 2 will be added because A value will become 1 when the value of B is stored in A. So 1 plus 1, 2. And 2 plus 1, that is 3. In this way it keep on going. So we'll check with some good number like 10. We'll get some good number of lines. So we can see here. So we can do it for 100, 1000, 10,000, whatever we want. We'll go with 100. Okay. Yeah. There's an error here. So you can see here. Yeah. You can see here, right? Yeah. 0, 1, 1, 2, 5, 8, 13, 21. If we keep on adding this number, it will keep on going up to the condition fails. So this is all in this video. Thank you.